We've been wanting to put together podcasts on things that we're actually very passionate about,
Yep.
which is
Boring business.
Many small business owners feel stuck with generic marketing that doesn't match how their customers actually buy. Jeff and Jake will be talking about 3 tactics that they see working for their clients in, quote, boring industries. Plus, they'll share the top 3 things they wish companies would stop doing in their marketing.
Jeff helped me put together like 3 of the top things that we felt were marketing tactics that boring companies should be using.
Yeah.
And a couple of them are not necessarily ones that are really, really obvious. So,
Yeah.
should we get into it?
Let's do this.
All right. So one of your, being from a copy background, you write, you help companies present their products and services and their value propositions in ways that address audiences, their targets' needs,
Yeah.
right? But all of those words become SEO, right? Google is looking at those words and those pages that you build and going, where should I stack, this company versus other companies? So can you tell us a little bit about your background with SEO, service-based companies, boring companies,
Right.
and some of the impacts that some of these companies can have?
Well, I think SEO nowadays is in a very volatile state. It's changed a lot. I think we've seen AI and the AI overviews kind of take over. And so it's changing. The landscape is changing. It's kind of like a tricky balance when you're building it out on your website because you want to get people to the site, which is the SEO side, but then at the same time, you want them to actually convert, which is the CRO side. So it's a tricky balance between writing for a algorithm, but you're not just writing for an algorithm or a search engine. You're writing targeting on search intent. And that's kind of like my core starting point with a lot of my clients where it's like, okay, like, what is your business? What do they do? And I get to know the specifics, the details, the about story, the what motivated the owners as to why they started it, talk with the team, their sales process. So I get all those details, but then I start to map it to the actual search intent to figure out, who's typing in what to look for specific things online to solve their problems.
And then what they're supposed to do. Like, what does the business want them to do? Do the business just want them to read this page? Or are they supposed to call? Or are they supposed to fill out a form? Or are they, supposed to visit in person and then optimize for that as well, right? Lead them to that obvious conclusion of like, get your problem solved. Or have you been convinced? Here's what you got to do.
Yeah. So there's 2 approaches. Like, let's say you're starting a new site, and the best thing to do is to kind of target your commercial keywords and set up the landing pages for your core services and offerings. And that everyone should be competing on the keywords for your core offering. I firmly believe that if you don't have dedicated landing pages for each of your core offerings, I think myself, I have targeting website copywriting. I have another site that's targeting website design. And I'm sure at some point you recently launched a new site. So you have the audio marketing and it's in the pipeline.
Yeah, they're building these landing pages one by one.
And
It takes time, even
does.
for marketing people.
yeah. We'd rather be doing client work and then we
Yeah.
have our own in-house stuff behind. It happens all the time.
I wouldn't have to market myself if more of you. Yeah. We wouldn't even be having this podcast.
Yeah, we'd be retired. We'd be down in Krabi and enjoying the beaches. But no, we're in Chiang Mai and we enjoy working.
Yep.
So the new site just target, your core services, your core offerings to start getting those up ranked and competing. And then from there, it's sort of adding the informational. So I think a lot of the SEO community ranks keywords by like commercial intent, transactional intent, informational intent. And a lot of those informational keywords, yeah, it's nice to have. It's not like the most important to have.
And so the difference between those 3 categories, commercial, they are looking to buy something. So you have a keyword like best price gadget.
Right.
And then informational might be best reviewed gadget or how do I use this gadget?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know about gadgets, but it's like it's like those what is, which is low value. We can use AI to get answers.
Who is Matt Damon?
Yeah, exactly. Like we just watch Born Ultimatum. Is that it?
All the
The
Borns.
Born series. Yeah, that's all you need to know. But the commercial and transactional ones are the important ones because people are in that consideration phase where they have the problem, they're searching for a solution, and they're more likely to either reach out to begin that relationship. And I've been doing a lot of work with B2B, and those relationships and decisions are a lot longer. It's not like, oh, there's a flash sale, 20% off, 50% off this weekend only, and people are going to come and purchase some complex
Yeah.
$10,000, $100,000 service. It's a lot different. There's more decision makers involved, and more people at play that make the decision a lot longer. My favorite, actually, maybe we could pop the infographic here somewhere, is in 2019.
Infographic time.
Gartner published their B2B buying journey and the complexity of it. And I always go back to this chart because it just showcases that it's not this linear and the funnel that a lot of marketing teams kind of promote, where it's just like, okay, consideration, awareness. Now they made the decision. Now they made the purchase. And now you get your little coin at the bottom of the fun. I prefer to use the word I'm taking them on a journey. Like I'm taking them through the journey of the site.
Yeah.
But definitely, it's some sites I set up where there's just one landing page or a contact form, and once you get there, all branding is kind of stripped away. Where it's just like, oh, all that's left is the logo at the top, and it just go out the form, nothing else. And then if you need to go back, there's a back button maybe, but I just literally try to eliminate distractions. Another strategy is that I just rolled out on a client site, was to update all their hero section with the contact form. So we had some success with some of the other landing pages. So we were testing, I guess, coming back to SEO, we're getting traffic, but not all pages we created were the same. Some of them had the form at the top, others didn't. And the ones with the form at the top were getting conversions. So I thought, okay, well, if that's working, we may as well spread it across all of them. So we just finished that update.
Nice.
And hopefully within the next couple of months, we'll see more traffic come in and more conversions. Going I'll share a little bit of the secret as to how we achieve this. It's literally geolocation landing pages talking about their services in specific regions. So this particular client is in Ontario. So we were targeting all the cities that they serve where they have case studies. And the thing is, you could take a location page and theoretically you could just pump it into AI. They're like, oh, we target every city, Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, like, and all across Canada. But using AI doesn't add that extra value. So this client actually had case studies. They had stories of on the job. So we infuse those into the page. They also do their own video, which I think we're going to be talking more about soon. And they're on site doing projects, and they're just showing their world in specific locations though. So they're adding signals, like little micro signals in the video content. And then we add that to the landing page. So
You can really tell when you go to someone's website, you end up on like Chico, California roofing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, we do roofing in Chico, California. In Chico, California, we have teams. And I mean, it used to work. I don't know how well that's working now as far as the algorithm. But what you're talking about is, hey, we do work in Chico, California. We have customers there. We regularly go there every Thursday for a service trip or something. So instead of just like kind of templating it and swapping out the, the location word, you're talking about, generally you probably have a template for each of those geolocation web pages, but the content is really, really real.
Yeah, templates are great. Yeah, and the structure is, there was like a few split tests, like I said, with hero form or no hero form. Because sometimes we just wanted to have I was testing the phone number. So not everybody will submit a form. Some people are, either it's because it's an urgent issue or they're just the style of people that like to have a human conversation. So they click the button, boot up the phone call, and proceed that way.
What are some results that you've seen for some of your clients that are service providers in boring industries who might not expect SEO really to be that valuable for them?
Right. Anyone who's got a website, they need to incorporate SEO from the get-go. It's kind of an important part of getting free customers, free buyers. Like for my clients and for even myself, people who come to me, my best clients had come to me through my website. Some of them I've been working with for 3, 4 years.
Nice.
And that was just a lead that came in, filled out my form, and they do the same to my client's form. And you know, my clients deal with some pretty high value stuff. Like a CNC machine's not cheap. Roofing services is not cheap. And I deal with businesses who are, like I said, 10 to over 100K in business dealings.
Yeah.
And so those decisions are tough. And the thing is, SEO is one of those things that it puts you in the right place at the right time, because you don't know when someone's starting a new business and they need to buy the machinery to kind of fill up. They need the equipment, so they're shopping around. Or at the same time, when an accident happens, that's when we often like kind of resort to search, like, oh, I need this. We ask,
I need it now.
yeah, and it's urgent, right?
Result.
Yeah. So, and then they're kind of quickly consider their options. They're blasting out a message to each of them, and then you've got your chance to win their business.
Yeah.
So yeah, the technical side of SEO, it's also insanely boring stuff. You're writing code, you're typing in little lines of alt image text, and you got to make sure the meta matches the keyword without overly stuffing it. But for the most part, it's kind of like getting a business's beliefs, their process, even a little bit of pricing, slapping these on these landing pages with a little bit of a keyword focus there.
Google generally says they will reward you with higher rankings.
Yeah.
If you really, really help your customers. So answer their questions, inform them, to like do everything you can on your website to be the best possible experience for your customer, not yourself, right? Like, you might want to tell them this and tell them that, but if that's not interesting to your customer, they're going to click off. Google recognizes that they only spent 15 seconds on your page, and that's the average. So, oh, this doesn't seem that relevant to people. Whereas another page, someone's like, hey, my customers need this. This will really help them, etc. Which takes us into video.
Yeah. And I think we'll caveat with SEO one more thing. So with the video, but I'll let you lead with the video, and we'll talk how it links back to SEO. So
No, caveat away.
yeah, okay. So video, I don't know. I've been wanting to. I have a couple videos on my website. I'm trying to get more out. That's how kind of I linked up with Jake, because he's got Greenlight Studio. He's got his own kind of. Here we are in his recording space. It's a little intimate. We're bumping knees, but that's all right. But video,
I wasn't bumping knees.
well,
That must be mostly you.
just me. It's just me. But video, I don't know. I'm a writer, but at the same time, people are using our platforms differently.
Yeah.
And I think with the rise of YouTube and all these YouTube stars, people are consuming more. I mean, they've been consuming video or visual content since the dawn of TV, let's be honest. And people have been then slapped with commercials all the time. So I think more and more companies, including myself, want to get into video to kind of use every medium possible to get that message out there. And video is just a different format. Not everybody enjoys reading a book. Not everybody enjoys writing. So video offers that alternative to a more kind of humanized kind of look into a company, at least.
Yeah.
I believe.
It really does. And people kind of have, boring businesses generally have the idea like, okay, we make a product video of how this camera works, for example. My father-in-law's 70-year-old Minolta. You make a video for your product.
Right.
You make generally a little corporate video, like here's our company, here's our manufacturing process, here's our fancy new office, here's our new machine that we got to produce this. And so beyond that, boring businesses often, they see all these other YouTubers or companies doing these flashy, YouTube channels and things, and they don't really know, how do I translate that? I mean, I can make a bunch of how-to videos. I can make a bunch of boring, this is how you assemble our product videos, which are helpful, right? Another aspect of video before we go further with that line of thought is, what do we do with the video? Video is a lot easier to make than it ever has been, ever, right? So putting together a little studio and things like that 10 years ago, 20 years ago was a big production, right? And you'd put together $40,000-$50,000 and you'd shoot a bunch of videos, right? And it involved a lot of people, and if you didn't get the sound right, well, we have AI this and AI that for improving sound, and the tools are just so much more easy to use that it's a lot more achievable.
Yeah.
But that takes us back to, just because it's achievable doesn't mean we actually have a good plan of how do we leverage video. So a lot of companies then will do case studies, right? They'll visit a customer and the customer will do this kind of staged testimonial. Those are all kind of like baseline stock videos that aren't bad to do in any way, shape, or form, but everybody's seen them now. At the sawmill company, we would make the stock standard promotional video with the nice energetic music, all these cool shots of the product working, right? We found setting up a camera, just shooting, no editing for 15 minutes of that machine running, always got more views.
Yeah. Yeah.
With the loud sound of the machine running, and like the dust collectors and everything like that, always got more views than this nicely produced, just wow, you could just taste the excitement off this machine.
Yeah.
Why? Because someone who is going to invest $15,000-$40,000 into a machine, they have kind of this mental checklist of what they need to know about that machine. Like, are parts going to be available? Is it going to do what it says? What does it do when they edited? So the idea of just like one camera on a machine shooting was always more effective in sales meetings and things like that for products like that.
Sounds like it keeps production costs down too.
It really keeps production's costs way down. That's not necessarily all the videos you should make. There's a lot of things that you can do with video that are just a lot more, but they take an extra level of understanding of your customer and going out there and deciding, we're just going to put up the camera and shoot 15-minute boring footage of this machine. It doesn't excite marketers at all if it answers what the customer is looking for.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you and I are cooking up for a client is we have been trying to figure out, they're in a boring industry, right?
Agreed.
And like, how do we translate that to video? There's some other YouTubers in their space that are doing pretty well, but that's taken a long time and building up reputation. We don't necessarily want to just copy what someone else is doing.
Well, the thing is, like, because what do you do with your videos, right? A lot of time you're forced to explore new platform, right? So it's like, okay, you have video now. You have this MP4 file. What do you do with it? And you're uploading it in places like, okay, well, LinkedIn, not a full video, depending on the length. You're putting it on YouTube. Maybe you're going to throw chunks of it on TikTok. And, oh, well, should we have it on our Facebook as well? Oh, then there's Instagram. So it's really overwhelming as to, like, now you have this new piece of content. Where are the platforms that they exist? And for some businesses, your customers may not exist in all these places.
Right.
So as much as you might use YouTube as the source of hosting it.
Yeah, where you put it, like where you upload it.
But is that the place where your customers are going to come to you from your YouTube channel, right? Like in one of the boring businesses that I worked with, subscribers is not the goal.
Right.
Which, when you're going on YouTube, that's the goal. You want to get 1 million subscribers. You want the plaque.
That's for someone who's doing YouTube for YouTube.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So just to clear that out of the way,
this may turn into eventually.
Please, algorithm gods, come on, bless us.
If you're still watching, then you are helping. So.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah, but
we're on our way.
We're working on it.
If no one's watching at this point,
we're just doing this for the vanity, to be honest with you. It's the vanity metrics. We want the likes, we want the thumbs up, we want the subscribes.
If this was for a vanity, I would have grown this beard out.
Eh? Yeah, so these videos, like they at first they had just kind of shots of their the people that they serve,
right?
Just drone footage and all this stuff, which is fine, but it wasn't really, what's the value in that? It's just like a quick drone shot, and sometimes those things pop off.
Yeah, and it's very limited use, right?
Yeah.
So you could use a drone shot if you gave them context. In a sales meeting, you're like, hey, here's a drone shot of that for our last project.
Yeah.
Then it's working, but
if you're using it for attraction, and you're trying to like also to nurture and to kind of convince people that you're the real deal and you're the one that they can trust and kind of work with. So they shifted quickly. Like they wanted to do video, and they started doing shorts, just shorts, less than 60 seconds.
Yep.
Very minimal edits, just to begin with.
Super informal, not like stage stuff really, but thought put into it.
On the job, talking about problems like, oh, this system is broken, this is why, and they list the reasons, and then at the very end they kind of pitch their services, but at the same time they don't. They're just like saying like, hey, we see this all the time.
Yeah.
Hey, here's another situation which like this happens. This is reality. And some of them, I was surprised. This is why I talked to you. I was like, oh, we got to do this video about boring businesses succeeding in non-boring ways, because some of their videos popped off and got a few thousand views. And
which is starting to give YouTube some basis behind which to evaluate their audience.
Yeah.
So who is clicking and watching these videos?
Yeah.
And they start to figure out, because YouTube wants you to find videos that you like and stay on their platform.
never leave.
Right. And never leave.
Never.
So if you find a boring business's video interesting, YouTube is interested in that.
Yeah, and I do sometimes in the shorts. I stop, but I see construction workers laying out cement. There's like the one popular guy in the States who's like cutting the lawns, and he just goes around and cuts the lawns for free. And I watch those.
Watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a weird ASMR. I mean, I've always had a bit of a freak fetish with the way the world really works. Like that's a me thing. Like they've now have a new asset. So I look at everything that marketing or sales or business that are creating and pumping out into the world is a form of an asset that can be repurposed again and again. So, okay, great. The video got a couple hundred, 1,000 views. Fantastic. What do you do with it next?
Yeah.
So-
It's not the end. It's not the only thing you can do.
Yeah. So we took those videos and we put them on the site, and I made a little custom coded pop-up. So I'm OCD about speed. I like to keep my web pages fast, and you know how it goes. You start embedding one video and then another video, and all of a sudden load time is slow as heck.
Right.
So I've been experimenting with the light box pop-up. I might give it away for free if you guys want a copy of my vibe coding. I think the cool kids are calling it. I vibe coded this.
They're calling that for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. So you grab a copy of that. But it's working, and I think it's creating some dwell time. So dwell time, people are coming to the site, they're sticking around, which is good for SEO. It's signaling to Google that like, oh, people like this page. Similar to every other signal. It's like you're watching a video and you've watched to this moment or 10 minutes in, that's a signal. There's all these micro signals that are kind of, you not manipulating, but you kind of are, so I put videos on these pages, one to educate, one to keep people lingering there. But the video relates to the content on the page. It was super simple to make because it was just a short 60 seconds on the site, on the job, which I feel like people want to see. Like they want to see the process. They want to see the people behind the brands.
Video really helps, if you use it right, to confirm claims that you've made and to answer questions that the audience has. So if their audience comes, they're evaluating you through meetings or phone calls, online research, reading your website, whatever.
Yeah.
Video can help. If you do it in the right way, it can help really sell that we are legit. We're not just making stuff up.
Yeah. I mean, we're human beings. We are always making judgments. The moment we meet someone, encounter something new.
You made a judgment when you first opened this video.
Yeah. I don't want to know. You can let us know in the comments what you think about us. Be gentle.
So about video, there's a couple things that I like to recommend for boring businesses. One is customer videos can be super, you can be a lot more than you think. So you go to a customer's location. I've done this 80, 100 times in different places around the world. And you get photography, you get videos, you get interviews, you get shots, lifestyle shots, you get all the stuff. You can use that. Yeah, you make a little 3 to 5 minute video, which is kind of this typical like, yes, we're happy with the product, blah, blah, blah. But what you also get is video clips that you can use in other videos. Your corporate video, you can show, clips of your customers using your product. Your hero images on your website, your social media, you could be the quotes. So you create a little article, you create blog posts and social media posts, and it's evergreen. So in one day, when you do a customer video, get all this stuff that you're going to then repurpose in many different ways. If calendars. So, I bring back photography from far corners of the world, and then I'm still seeing the company I used to work for 7 years ago, still using photography I shot 12 years ago because it still works. And it is so much more difficult for them to go back out and get another photo. And they're like, well, this is 12 years old, but
Still works.
this sells what we're trying to sell.
Yeah.
And they even use my photo. I was a model for them because, small company. And
He's looking for the royalties. That's why we're talking about this.
that's right.
Reach out.
So those customer project videos that you do, you can really get a lot of mileage out of them if you plan it and do that smart. Another thing would be videos or just kind of creating content like this. If you sit down your CEO and ask them about the quarter and the projects that were worked on and the customers that they talked to and market conditions and things like that, that can be video, but it doesn't have to be video. That could be a podcast. It could just be an audio recording.
Yeah.
And you and I have seen the power of, if you just get someone who really knows their stuff talking, who isn't normally talking, right? Who's not writing LinkedIn posts and things like that, because that's not their job. That's not their focus. That's not their skill set. If you can get them going, you as a marketing team or a sales team can use that in so many different ways, for social, for thought leadership, for all kinds of stuff, over time. So that's another way to use video. Video can be really powerful for that. Video strategy is, I think, really important, is just making sure that you have, we know who we're trying to help. So we're going to make this kind of vlog content, for example, because it will help build our reputation in this way, or whatever it might be. For example, when I sat down to figure out creating these kinds of YouTube videos, not only provide content for me to repurpose on LinkedIn and my website and things like that, but it will also show people, like, if someone is curious, if from a boring business is curious about how I approach that, I send them this episode. And suddenly they're like, okay, he seems like a real person,
Yeah.
and he seems to actually care and have some good insights. You know what? I will have a phone call with him. That was the strategy, right?
That's it. Yeah, I'm doing this as the same way to get out from behind my laptop from writing and designing websites all the time to showing the guy behind the PC. So,
And guy behind the PC is a perfect lead in to
personal branding.
point number 3, which is the other tactic that we thought of talking about, which most owners, salespeople, and stuff in service businesses, boring businesses, do not want to hear. But I think we can pitch it to you in a way that you'll see the value and go, oh, okay, I could actually probably do that.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one. I see people throwing it around all the time, like, "Oh, you got to build a personal brand." Like, what the hell is a personal brand?
Should we define it for like a boring business how we see it? Because I'm sure they've heard that too, and they probably are about to click off the video now.
Yeah, it's like they're like thinking like, "Oh, I need to have some superstar, egotistical, sunshine character for my brand. Why don't I just get a mascot?"
A lot of people in these kinds of businesses, they don't want the spotlight either.
Yeah, I know. But it's so
And like us.
yeah. Well, I'm a solo operator. You're the face of a great team out here in Thailand. So, but I think I don't know. I struggle with this one. I know I'm working on my own personal brand. I mean, my name is my website. I have my own personal blog, jeffvandergraaf.com, which I think everyone should go out and buy their name.
I think
at some
mine's
point.
already taken.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great name, So, yeah, that's not personal branding though, and it's not my logo. It's not my colors, but it's an aspect of it. For me, I always push my clients to start, representing themselves throughout their website, throughout their marketing materials to add that human element to it. I'm personally skeptical. I have trust issues. I think we all have more than enough spammers filling in our LinkedIn DMs and our spam box. Like, Google does a damn good job of putting things to spam, but some people do get through.
Yeah.
And it's garbage. So I will either check someone's site or I'll, little signals to see like, is this a real person? And
100%.
going to a website and seeing real people is like, well, I want to see that. That's just me though.
So here's how I'm gonna like pitch personal branding for foreign businesses. Most of us have seen The Office, I hope, right? Do you remember that character that runs the refrigeration company?
Bob Vance, Vance Refrigeration. Stanley Hudson. Bob Vance, Vance Refrigeration.
Ryan Howard.
Bob Vance, Vance Refrigeration.
What line of work you in, Bob?
That doesn't do anything for me as a potential buyer, partner, distributor, whatever it might be, checking out. However, if Jim Vance, I run the refrigeration company down the street. Some Walmart's refrigeration system is down and all the ice cream is melted and has come out on the floor. And our team's putting that together for them. And, if they had done this maintenance plan or something that so you're starting to get a sense for why what Jim does matters. And you're kind of seeing him and his personality with the value that his company offers. So that's kind of the personal branding approach, I think, for boring businesses. It's about, being a real person and sharing your, knowledge, things in an authentic way over time, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just Jim Vance, Vance Refrigeration. So if you don't want to be that guy.
I don't know. I'm a bit of a peacocker when I go to business events. Like I got my own name tag with like the electronic one. I made my own T-shirt.
What's an electronic name tag?
I saw them at like one of the like the bars here when I went to the SEO conference, and like the bartenders had like the name tags where it's like a digital name tag that like kind of slides by. So I bought one in the nick of time. Yeah. And then I could program my name into it, and I could program a message into it, and I could put my like a slogan or a heart. And
I love that. But that's fun. It's funny, right? You're like, that's hilarious. That's personal branding right there.
That's it. And I made my own shirts. Some of it was swear words on it, and then I'm pitching my idea where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start this T-shirt brand called Profanity, right? Like so personal branding. Yeah, to me it's a little quirks.
Personal branding is a way that your boring business can really help you get your message across. Trust, authenticity, quality, the promise of good service, that you are going to fulfill on the promise that you're making, that you're not going to back out of things, that you're there long term. So personal branding is something that you should look into as a service business or a boring business. Chat with us about personal branding. I have even packages around personal branding and busy business owner. That's another one of the issues is like, I'm so busy. I can't just sit there and play on LinkedIn all day. At the same time, you have a lot of these outsourced services that will do all of it for you, and they will write your posts and do the graphics, and they will send out, messages and all that stuff. I've taken somewhere in the middle where it's like, this needs to be coming from you, but it needs to be really respecting of your time, right? So we get some input from you. We help to put together some posts. And then what I like to do personally is not send out messages on LinkedIn. For example, connecting is, I think, still really powerful. So our service, we only send connection requests to the kinds of people that you're wanting to connect with, potential partners, potential employees, that kind of thing, potential customers. Well, we just connect with them. And then there's no sales pitch or anything that follows it. It's just a connection. You're now connected. And then if you're producing some content and engaging with our help or something like that, then they see it over time. And we feel like that is the most authentic way to tee you up.
You're doing it the authentic way.
Right.
I think the gurus are promoting that you send the request, and then you go and you like love blast every one of their posts and just hit like on all of it so you show up in their notification. And then don't stop there. Don't forget to give a total stranger a skill endorsement, because you don't know if they're actually qualified or not, but endorse it so you also showed up in their...
Basically, you're kind of like kill them with kindness.
Yeah, the flattery. I mean,
but it's your intern that's doing this. It's not really you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and if it works.
So 3 tactics that we suggest avoiding. Okay, so especially for boring businesses. You want to take the first one?
100%. being on social media without a strategy.
Just shut it down.
Yeah, it's useless. Just know what your message is and just repeat that nonstop. And of course, experiment with format and style. But once you find things that work, or even copy other people who are going viral, maybe it'll work for you. But yeah,
What I see is boring businesses go, hey, we have a Facebook, we have a Instagram. We posted something, so we did marketing today.
Yeah.
Now, I was in a meeting with a boring business where literally these words were uttered. Hey, we hired Jake to do the social media, Facebook. This was in 2011, right?
yeah.
And someone from across the meeting room goes, we need to pay someone to do that. That was actually pretty good.
That's nice.
And I was like, now that same business would be like, well, we posted it on social media. We did marketing today. But literally Facebook shows it to no one unless you boost it. So if it's just a waste of time. There are other things that you could be doing. We gave you 3 of them.
SEO, video, personal branding.
Yep. That you could be doing that are a whole lot more effective than just posting on social without a strategy.
Next one, the boring corporate announcements. You know, they have a place.
It kind of ties into the last one, honestly.
Yeah, but it has a place. I know in our notes it says like, oh, we're new office. Like that is important. You want to let people know that you've changed spaces in case someone looks you up and it's changed, right? And you know, meet our team. Like that stuff is great. But if that's all you're posting and that's all you have, that's not much of a marketing strategy.
What it then shows is that you're just posting stuff about yourself.
Yeah.
And you're not actually creating content that customers will find useful to them on a regular basis.
This is what I see a lot of boring businesses do on their websites. It's like, we've been in business for 27 years. You know, we've been our community's trusted source since the dawn of time. And it's like, yeah, great. Like, how does that help me? Like, yeah, years of experience, but how are you solving problems?
The third thing to avoid would be shiny marketing. That sounds a bit too good to be true. I helped coach a company that had spent tens of thousands of dollars on marketing agencies in the Midwest of the U.S. last year. And they literally went nowhere. And literally, when they stopped working with those 2 or 3 agencies, they were doing video, they were doing ads, they were doing SEO and a few other things, we had to scrap it all because none of it was connected, right? Beware of working with a company that promises you a lot, takes your money, and just isn't putting it together. They might be just doing one thing for you, and it's not like collectively building a cohesive strategy that works for your company.
Right. Yeah, stick with the basics and figure out what works for you. I think we could get the shiny object syndrome where we think like, oh, well, this isn't working. Well, now I need ads. And then you start spending on ads. Like, oh, but ads isn't working. So maybe we should try something else. And it's, you can keep spinning and you're not really going anywhere. So
I started to realize that a lot of clients came to me and wanted me to action their to-do list, which is fine. I love to-do lists. Like, give me a to-do list. Hey, we need a video for our new product.
Yeah.
Let me add it. But then, you know, they'd be working through their to-do list, and I realized eventually it was shiny object syndrome. Oh, we should do this. Oh, we want to do this. Oh, we want to do it. And then after a year, they're like, hey, why isn't the marketing working? I'm like, I was just doing what you told me to do.
it's not on you.
So that brings to the bonus tip at the end, which we're going to use to kind of close this out, which is if you don't have a marketing strategy, work on a marketing strategy. There's really good resources out there on Jeff's site, my website.
Hey, you offer like at the bottom of your site, like a little free.
We
marketing
do. We
strategy.
have a little workbook,
Yeah.
which you can basically, it just walks you through the steps of just creating a basic marketing strategy where you walk through your audience, you know, or your target customer and what their needs are. And, but it also walks you through like what's working currently, what is actually bringing customers and keeping the lights on right now, because that needs to be thought through. Different steps. You can walk through it yourself. We offer those kinds of strategy building services as well. But I think the main point is if you feel like you can't define your strategy, like we are doing this to get these kinds of customers, and we're doing it in this way because of these reasons. If you can't explain that, like in an elevator pitch, right off the cuff, then you need to take a day, a week, and work on your marketing strategy. What is it?
How to simplify it, which is also key, because the last thing you want is to have an overcomplicated, crazy marketing workflow where you need to have all these assets. Sometimes it is as simple as whipping out your phone while you're on site or on the job and talking about a situation and uploading a short onto YouTube, and maybe down the line adding that into the website somewhere where it's relevant, to make that human connection. So it's a lot easier than people may think. I think marketing is such an abstract, massive umbrella term that it could feel overwhelming. But simplifying it and starting by actually sitting down and kind of putting in the work.
Yeah.
Or you just go ask your chat GPT and see what it says.
I had someone bring me a ChatGPT produced marketing strategy for them.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. It looks, why do you need me? I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in here. I wouldn't argue with a lot of the stuff. And they're like, well, and there was stuff that didn't make any sense. Like it just didn't match what his real situation was because he didn't know to give it those inputs. And then he's like, well, who's going to do it? I was like, oh, ChatGPT can't do that for you yet? Oh, so you need someone. Oh, Jeff.
Hi.
What you got? How can people get in touch with you and use your copy skills to better their business?
You can just check me out at copyadscontent.com. That's kind of the main hub for my copywriting world. I also do websites at baob.ca. I'm managing 2 brands. Don't ask me how I do it. I just had to separate the copywriting from the web design. But yeah, I help B2B services who are kind of in that either they've done it themselves. Some of them have been working with the wrong agency and their whole website setup is just a nightmare, done incorrectly. So I'm either saving businesses from incorrect kind of setups or just helping them get into the flow of a good marketing strategy with the right messaging, and just getting that consistent inbound, at least inbound. I'm seeing good with SEO these days, despite the volatility. So yeah, copy ads content, baob.ca. Check me out there. Yeah, thanks. This was fun.
This was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
See you in the next one.
The AI video editing isn't quite there yet.
Nothing is.
No.
All of AI has got a long ways to go.
Yeah. We're not performance marketing agencies, so apparently we're boring.
Yeah. We're not trying to go viral. We're not doing anything exciting. We're literally like writing code and in the back end of tools and software doing stuff.
I think with your commenting strategy on LinkedIn, you are not as boring as you make out. I've seen some of your comments on posts. I'm like, oh, wow, poke the bear.
Yeah. It's a lot of annoying noise on LinkedIn. So it's
Just definitely that.
people regurgitating the same thing that they saw from somebody else's post, and then everyone just dumping this like group think. And
What I hate is like oh yeah, that makes a great point about this and this. We should keep that in mind. It's like AI wrote that or your intern wrote that. How is that? Oh, now I'm seeing you and now I know who you are and now I know that your business exists. Oh, wow. Okay, it worked.
I just question, how does that move the needle for people commenting like that? Like,
See, you are an AI commenter right there. You said move the needle. That's like the thing in my all my GPTs never say move the needle.
for me, I
It
see
used
all
to
the
be a
time-
good phrase.
I see, here's the truth. But the truth is, and it's always like this single short statement, and this is the truth. So it's like everything else was what, BS from AI? Probably. Yeah, LinkedIn it got nasty. It says they dropped video from the mobile phone, and then now it feels more like a Facebook, Instagram experience where every time I open up I go onto LinkedIn, suggested person who I don't know, then an ad, maybe another suggestion, then a premium user, and then
me.
Yeah, and then you, multiple times you
Right.
too many in one day. But yeah,
I go in spurts where it's like, well, you guys have a lot to catch up on now. So For me, it's interesting, and I've wanted to kind of rant about this for a while, which is the most commonly the most common post that LinkedIn thinks I'll be interested in is marketers ranting about hiring practices in which someone is wanting to hire a social media manager, for example, but they need to know SEO, no Google ads, no social media, create videos, shoot videos, edit videos, etc.
Yeah.
And it's just someone complaining about that. And then the thing is LinkedIn thinks that it's actually popular because everybody jumps on and goes, oh yeah. But it's actually like, it's just like preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
And a bunch of little choir, like all the little marketers jump on. I mean, it's true. It happens to me, but it's LinkedIn just thinks that kind of post is something I'll find interesting.
I have a really tough relationship with LinkedIn. I'm doing it because I have this belief that I will find clients, but even some of the leads and prospects are just they're mining for not value. They're just trying to extract ideas that they can then pitch to their clients and to make themselves look good because they don't know what they're doing. And so they come to you and they're like, "Oh, what are some ideas of this?" Like, and they make it seem like you have to prove yourself to them to get some job that's probably not going to materialize. So
I kind of feel like LinkedIn for people like us is almost like it's reputation building.
Yeah.
So for example, you are building a reputation with other marketers and stuff, but I almost feel like for us, and we'll talk about this in a second, I guess, it's almost building the actual network of marketing people and building trust. For example, like if I had a proper project that I need a copy on, I'd love for you to work on it. I don't have that proper project at the moment, but because I saw you on LinkedIn and I'm like, man, this guy I really feel like this guy can bring it and he understands the needs of small services-based businesses. And he is going to knock it out of the park.
thank you.
Yeah. And that's just because of posting on LinkedIn.
Oh, right.
So
I got lost in the comment there.
right.
But,
The relationship and that reputation kind of builds over time, and then, or it might be a speaking event. You might be, because of your personality and stuff on LinkedIn, someone might go, you know what? You're the perfect person I need to speak at my next event or something like that, right?
yeah, I'm open to speaking events, by the way.
Open to speaking events.
But shall we get into this?
Yes.
Let's get it started.
I always like doing a good 5-10 minutes of
That's great.
because then you kind of start to get into a little bit more of that. But
And not boring in in an offensive way. So don't be mistaken by the word boring. But there's a lot of businesses out there that is not that exciting. It's the industrial, it's the roofing, it's the construction work, it's manufacturing. This stuff is boring. Wood, wood, timber, all that stuff. But the marketing that you use to attract people to your business doesn't have to be boring.
yeah, and a lot of people who work in those industries, marketers, the owners, they know that they work in a business that the general public doesn't have a lot of awareness of or considers boring. When I got a job offer to work at a manufacturer of sawmilling equipment in 2011, people were like, huh? And even I was a little bit like, okay, when I got into it and into the world of that and the sustainability and the customers and what they were doing with stuff, and that it was worldwide, this was a, plus 100 million plus annual company. They had mills everywhere. They ended up sending me to 30 countries around the world to do case studies and videos and help their dealers and just, that's not a boring company. However, from the public opinion, like, oh, sawmill, you build machines that cut down trees.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was this reputation aspect.
Yeah.
So,
but marketing doesn't have to be boring. That's at the end of the day. And we're going to talk about some ways where it's actually a little more exciting and people do enjoy seeing the boring side of life and business. So
one of the best things that surprised me one time was for a CNC manufacturer in Indiana. And they everybody calls, no one uses the contact form. Typically the people who use the contact form are not like ideal customers for us because it's like $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 for each machine. It's up. And so one day I was just like, you know what? It takes like 2 seconds to put the Facebook chat button on your website. I'll just throw it on there and see what happens.
Mm.
Their target audience of 50 plus Midwestern retired men loved that chat button because it was like they still were calling. They didn't want to use a form, but this idea of just kind of quickly chatting with and getting a response from the salesperson, it blew up. And they weren't watching it, like the internal sales team wasn't watching it that much. And so like in 12 hours, I was like, did you guys realize you have like 18 messages and these are legit leads? Like, get someone on that right away. It was one of those things where it's just like 2 seconds to do, and it actually had a really good impact.
Yeah, I've tried the widget, the chat bot, but I haven't seen much. I took it off my site because I thought no one's using it to talk to me about copywriting. Like I said,
Right.
I'm in an extremely boring business. Like I'm a copywriter first, and I dabble in web design as a secondary. So if you come to me to like design my website, I will do so only if I'm writing it. And so nobody wants to see someone writing. I think we see it on TikTok and all that stuff. And artists, someone will watch the beautiful art and the drawings. No one's gonna sit around and watch me write. It's boring as heck.
You might be surprised if you got an old typewriter
Well, true.
and you had that ambiance and like a little like crackling fire.
Yeah.
I bet that's a certain kind of ASMR that people would
No, I have a test. It's freedom of type. I did a little TikTok while I was traveling with my typewriter.
Nice.
It's just, you know how it goes.
You should do more of that.
I know. I should do a lot of things. But you know how you know how it goes. Editing videos and the whole process of idea to editing to execution.
And then doing it for 9 months and seeing if YouTube asks you.
The consistency part is
It's
it's hard. But where were we going? I was talking about SEO.
I was literally in Ukraine shooting a customer video once, right? And the guy says to me, I decided I didn't want you to shoot the video. I said, what? Why? We've arranged this. We're here. And he says, you video editors will just cut what I say in a way that I won't want. He was very distrustful.
Yeah.
So post-Soviet mindset of, you know what? I don't really want you messing with my business and things like that.
When I was cycling across like Canada and Asia,
Right.
I was fascinated by seeing all the little infrastructures that make up our world. The nuclear power plant in Bruce, Ontario, going through some of the massive dams, like creating energy. Like I have that fascination. So when I see those videos, I'm like, oh, that's cool. But of course, I'm not a customer.
You're not a
either.
customer,
Yeah.
but you are, yeah.
But how that links in is,
I'm doing a website for a small logging company in Oregon right now,
yeah,
and no leadership team, etc.
no time at all.
Yeah, no team at all. It's basically led by this guy. That's it.
Well, at least
And
did they put that one? Did they?
He has reasons, and you know that he has a team, but he, there's a lot of times, kind of concerns or
No, but is he on the site?
barely,
Okay.
like one picture.
It's
Whereas another logging company down the street might want to have everybody. I've done logging company websites, and they want to have everybody down to the dog.
yeah,
Yeah, the dog is on the website as well.
that's great. I like that.
But for the one guy, he's just like, I don't need the visibility right now. He's not in that headspace, etc. So perfectly happy.
Yeah, if it's working for him. I feel like I'm shooting.
He doesn't have a website. He doesn't have a Facebook page. He doesn't have anything at the moment. And he's grown from zero to hero in 5 years.
Yeah, not everybody needs websites. I started my first business, no website. I wanted one, but it was tough to make myself.
But he's now getting one because he just knows that that's expected.
Yeah.
And he wants to have a decent online profile now that he's, gotten to this point in the business. And I think that's where a lot of our customers come in is they eventually get it, even though maybe a lot of their business comes from other ways. But then eventually you kind of want to have this nice online marketing hub for your business.
Yeah. It's really like the digital home base for businesses. I don't know if they realize it.
Yeah.
Social media, not really a place. It's a nice
It's
platform. Yeah, it's a channel to send signals and propagate your message to hopefully hook someone in. But you don't know if there's fish in the water that day when you're posting at 8 a.m. before you head off to work, right? Like, who knows, right? And then, oh no, you got to stay on the platform for 10 minutes or 20 minutes and engage. before you continue your day.
Yeah.
And whose rules are you playing by?
Like, I don't know. You have a couple thousand followers on LinkedIn now, at least.
Yeah.
But you'll post something and 2 people will see it, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that? But your website is your website.
Yeah.
Right. So these other channels are owned by other companies and stuff, but your website is your website. That's kind of your home base.
So I made a fatal error when I tried to get into the web design business, and I had worked with a client who was obsessing with I was working on their brand messaging and doing the copywriting for their agency. So I work with agencies sometimes to write their agency websites.
Right.
Sometimes it makes no sense. But you need a writer. I'm a copywriter first.
I can identify with that need.
So he got obsessed with this concept or term called marketing ops or mar ops, right?
Right.
And in his head, he's like, yeah, because that's what we are. We're marketing ops, right? And he wanted that to be part of his branding. But then his team talked about it. It's like, yeah, it's kind of a complex term. But then I went on my own rabbit hole and I discovered the word web ops, like website operations. And I loved it. And I was like, well, if he's not going to use marketing ops, I'm going to use website ops. And it was a flop. Like it was a confusing term for most people. I think there's only one brand in the world that uses web ops, and it's a web hosting company called Pantheon, not a sponsor. But yeah, like that was the only mention I could find of web ops. And it's like, it's that I truly believe in it. Website is this operating system for your business. It's dynamic. It's not this static thing where you create 5 pages, home, about, contact, blog.
There's things that work together to do things. But yeah, it's one of those things that just hasn't really entered public consciousness. So it just is then confusing.
Yeah. So it's, to me,